Hey, y'all. How's everybody doing? Awesome. Great. Well, hello. My name is Alana Harper, and I am a senior SEO consultant at CI. My pronouns are she, her, and I'm a Black woman, 5'3", with short, black, kinky, curly hair, and I am wearing a blue jumpsuit, a brick red cardigan, gold jewelry, and tan shoes. So, SEO for website redesigns. Why are we talking about it? Well, many of our clients are currently about to go through redesigns. Yeah. Y'all know where you're all at right now. You're either about to go through a redesign or you just finished one. And if you aren't in one of those camps, you've been through one before. It's a very common experience for digital marketers. So website redesigns are many things. They are exciting because you're redesigning an entire website. That's really cool. They are also time-consuming because you are redesigning an entire website. They're also stressful for all the reasons that I just said. In fact, they are a lot like moving. Website redesigns are basically the experience of moving on the internet. Think about it. It's a lot like the process of getting from your old home to your new home. You're packing up and preparing everything that you own. You're hoping that your stuff makes it to your final destination safely. Quick aside, my colleague Dan had an experience during a cross-country move where he lost 13 boxes in the move. Yeah, I know, rest in peace boxes. That is terrible. So you're also working with a team of friends and family members to take care of everything that you have to do. And you're spending a ton of money. And even in the best situations where you're excited about the reason for your move or you're excited about the place that you're moving to, you're not excited about moving. It's something that I know that we can all relate to. I know that this is how I feel. The last time that I moved was in 2016, and it was when my partner and I decided to move in together. We were super excited. In fact, here is a picture of us from the day that we posted our apartment wanted ad on Craigslist. We are stoked. We are in love. We are full of optimism. This is us pre-move. So fast forward a couple of months, and it's the day of the move. And we've gotten everything into our new home, but the move has taken twice as long as we thought it would. Due to a complication. That complication being that we discovered that our couch did not fit in the elevator of our new building. Yeah. So that meant that the movers that we were working with had to carry our couch up 6 flights of stairs because we were on the top floor. And for that privilege, they charged us $100 per flight of stairs. Yeah. It sucked, y'all. It was bad. So we were like, cool, tight. And we went to the ATM to pull out all of our money. And on the way back to our apartment, we were tired, we were starving, we were broke, and we felt more like this. We were still really happy to be in our new home together. That was what was important, but the move took its toll on us that day, for sure. So another thing that moves and website redesigns have in common is that there's often something very crucial that you forget. On moving day, it could be the lamp that you left plugged in if you were moving in the dark and you're trying to make sure you saw the last of your stuff. For the website redesign process, the thing that you could be forgetting is search engine optimization, SEO. So, quick refresher, what does SEO do and why is it important? Well, SEO helps Google find, understand, and use your web pages. And it's also key for driving organic search traffic to your website. In fact, 68% of all online activities start on search engines. So getting this organic search traffic is very important. So now you might be thinking, SEO is important. Good, got it. I'll make sure to take care of SEO as soon as I launch my new website. But you don't want to do this. At least I don't want you to do this. It's very important and valuable to think about SEO during a website redesign. So here's 3 reasons why. Number 1, a website is most at risk for losing its organic traffic and values, such as your search ranking, during a relaunch. Because of that, you want to make sure that you protect organic traffic and value because they're highly impactful SEO factors, and regaining them after their loss can take a lot of time and a lot of money, or, well, it could take a lot of money, but mostly a lot of effort. And we all know that we don't have time to be doing things twice. And then finally, you can take advantage of the opportunity that's presented by your website redesign to make optimizations that can grow your organic traffic and value on your new site. So for all of these reasons, it's important to think about SEO during the planning stage when your new website is just a twinkle in your eye, during the pre-launch stage when you're tinkering and doing all sorts of hands-on things, and during the post-launch stage. In other words, throughout the entire process. So what does search engine optimization during the planning process look like? So when a website redesign is on the horizon, one of the best things that you can do is to analyze what is and isn't working on your current site. And you can do this by analyzing your current site structure and identifying opportunities for improvement on your new site. Site structure refers to how you organize your website's content. It's important for SEO and for user experience. Let's compare good site structure to bad site structure really quickly. Good site structure improves the ability of search engines to find and index your organization's pages. And it also makes it easier for people to quickly and easily understand the relationship between pages. On the other hand, bad site structure does the opposite. It makes it harder for search engines to find and index your pages. And it also makes it more difficult for people to easily understand and find their way around your website. So here is a visualization of what I'm talking about. Let's say you're putting together or holding a large music festival that consists of multiple events. On your website, you have a music festival page that acts as an umbrella for your individual pages with details on each event. The URL for one of those event pages would ideally look like this example here, instead of these examples on the bottom. This top URL uses a parent-child structure, where the festival page is the parent page and the event page is the child page. This structure makes it easier for people to understand the relationship between the event and the larger festival. Another big way that site structure can change is by adding genre pages for events. This is especially useful for organizations that present different kinds of concerts, like jazz and bluegrass and classical, or different kinds of events altogether, like dance and comedy shows and concerts. Creating genre pages allows you to zero in on keywords that are specific to that genre. And you can zero in on those keywords in your title tags and your meta descriptions, which we'll talk more about later. So here's something that's very important. You might be thinking, oh, we already have pages like this, like these genre pages, so we're good to go. But in order for this to work, you have to have pages with individual URLs like the one that you're seeing here, as opposed to pages that you see with URLs that you see on the bottom here, which a lot of organizations have. It's very popular. The bottom example uses a URL parameter. The parameter here is indicated by the question mark in the URL and everything that comes after it. It's not a URL for a static page. Instead, It's a URL for a version of the page with a filter applied. It's not a real page. So you can't create targeted title tags and meta descriptions for that page because it doesn't really exist. Clients often ask us if you can make changes to your site structure after your website is launched. And the short answer is yes, but it's a lot harder. Site structure can be difficult to change after you've already launched a website. It can mean undoing things. So it's ideal and a lot easier if you just do it when you're already redesigning your website. Another thing that you can do during the planning stages is to conduct a content audit. This is like when you're getting ready to move and you start sorting through your closet and purge things that you no longer need. And as we all know, you can be surprised by what you find in your closet if you haven't looked in there in a while. Case in point, from my moving story from 2016, I hadn't done a closet purge in a very long time when I was getting ready to move. And when I started to go through things, I found a floppy disk cleaning brush and my first driver's license. Y'all, I don't know why I had these things. It was 2016, I was in my 30s. I clearly didn't need these things anymore. In fact, I have never needed a floppy disk cleaning brush in the 21st century. This is why purging via a content audit is so important. I don't want you to take your version of a floppy disk cleaning brush to your new website. Instead, I want you to conduct a content audit. And you'll do this in a simple way. You're going to look at your web pages and you're going to determine pages that are important, that you want to keep, pages that could be combined, perhaps, and pages that are irrelevant. And this does a couple of things. It uncovers the content that you don't need to take to your new website. And it also informs your redirect strategy, which is a very important part of the website redesign process, and we'll talk more about what that is and what that means later. Another thing that you'll want to do during this planning stage is to consider how schema will impact requirements for your content management system, or CMS. Schema is a joint markup language that is incredibly valuable to organizations that present events. It powers rich snippets for your events in Google that display in Google search, like what you see here, as well as results in Google Maps and notifications in Google Assistant. The best way to utilize schema is to build it into your CMS so that whenever an event is created in your website, the schema that describes that event is also automatically created. So once you know that you want schema to be generated in your CMS automatically, that's something that you can bring up in your conversations with web design agencies that you're considering working with, and you can include that information in your RFP. That's the planning stage. Now let's move on to the pre-launch stage. First of all, let's acknowledge how much is going on during the pre-launch stage. It's a lot. When I've been involved in redesigns, I've been doing quality checks for massive content migrations to make sure that nothing got weird in that process. At the same time, my colleagues were writing web copy for new pages or entire new sections of the website. And then there are all of those final reviews and approvals that can take forever, and you're just kind of sitting there sweating, hoping that people are happy with everything that you've done. It's a lot like the day before a move, when you're still trying to gather enough boxes or make sure that your electricity is turned on at your new apartment. It is a lot. And we know that it's a lot at CI because currently we are going through our own website redesign process, and we are currently in this stage. Very exciting, very exciting. And so my SEO colleagues and we've been working with our marketing team and our web design agency to prioritize SEO during this time. This means that we've been looking at our own site structure and conducting our own content audit. All of the same stuff that I am talking with you about now. So has this added to our pre-launch to-do list? Yeah, for sure. No doubt. But the reality is that it adds to your to-do list because when you're working on these website redesigns, your day-to-day job doesn't stop. Your day-to-day work doesn't pause just because you have a website to build. So we've been making sure that we're best set up for SEO success while also trying to do the same for our clients. And that's been kind of meta. It's also been pretty exhausting. But it's worth it. We know it's worth it, and here's why. The SEO work that you do in this stage will help ensure that the SEO planning that you've already done and the organic search value that you've already built up on your old website carries over to your new website. Think of this as the fragile packing stage of your website redesign process. SEO is your good china, and the work that you do in this stage is like your bubble wrap. Here are some important things to do during this pre-launch stage. Number one, create good title tags and meta descriptions for your high priority and key pages. If you don't already have these title tags and meta descriptions, you're going to want to write them. Good title tags and meta descriptions are really at the core of SEO work. So a brief refresher on what these things are. A title tag is a brief description of the page's content, which shows up on the SERP as the link at the top of the listing. And it also appears at the top of the browser tab in many browsers. Title tags impact your ranking on the SERP. A meta description also gives a brief description of the page's content, but it's longer than the title tag, so you can say more. And these are the words that appear on search listings just below the title tag and URL. Meta descriptions impact your click-through rate, or CTR, on the search engine results page, or rather from the search engine results page. So while title tags and meta descriptions directly impact different things, both are crucial for controlling how you appear on the search engine results page. And if you don't have title tags and meta descriptions for your pages, Google will choose title tags and meta descriptions for you. And that might sound appealing, but this is not what you want. The snippets that Google can create, or it's not creating them, but it's grabbing them from your page or the content on the page, these snippets can be random, and they may not actually best represent the page or the action that you want people to take on that page. Here's an example from a client that I worked with earlier this year. At first glance, this might look like a perfectly fine auto-generated title tag and meta description, but there are some key optimizations that are missing. The date of the event, for instance, is not included in this title tag and meta description. And also a call to action phrase like buy tickets isn't included. These are details that can help increase your CTR if they're included, but there's no guarantee that they will be included if you leave your title tags and meta descriptions up to Google. Another really important thing to do during this stage is to set up your 301 redirects for key pages on your old site to your new site. Simply put, a redirect sends a user from one URL to another. It's basically like mail forwarding. So redirects are important because when a person tries to get to a page on your old website from a bookmark that they had saved, you don't want them to be met by an error page. That's a bad user experience, and UX impacts SEO. Instead, you want to send them to a new version of the page that they were originally trying to get to via a 301 redirect. This is where that content audit that we talked about in the planning stage really comes in handy. Because once the content audit is complete, and you know what pages on your old site that you're keeping or merging together, you'll know how to plan accordingly, how to prioritize what pages to include in that redirect plan, and how to redirect them. Next on our to-do list, maintain access for your previous website domain in case your domain name is going to change. And then also, you want to set up Google Search Console for your new website. Search Console is an extremely powerful tool that lets you see what search terms are driving clicks to each page on your website. And that is very, very useful data for optimizing your website. So you want to set this up as early as possible to collect data and ensure there are no gaps in reporting. And I'll just say here that if you already have Search Console set up for your old site and you're not changing your domain, then you should be set. Now let's talk about SEO during the post-launch stage. After your new website goes live, first of all, celebrate. It is a big deal to get a new website up. You should have the pizza party, open the bottle of champagne, do the worm, whatever you want to do to mark this major achievement. You've gotten to your new home, and hopefully nothing was broken and nothing got lost. But like with a move, the work isn't done yet. This is a photo that I posted on Instagram a few days after my last move. My partner and I had gotten all of our stuff into our apartment, and things are starting to take shape. But as you can see, or I hope you can see, there are some broken down boxes below this window. So clearly, we still had some work to do. It's the same thing with your website. After your launch, the work that you're focusing on has to do with watching for signs that your search rankings or organic traffic have dropped. This can easily happen after a relaunch because it's a very vulnerable time for your website. So what exactly should you be doing during that stage, knowing that? One of the best things that you can do in the post-launch stage is to update your XML sitemap and upload it to Search Console. An XML sitemap is a list of all the pages on your website specifically created for search engine crawlers. It's typically automated by your CMS. An XML sitemap is similar to an HTML or user-facing sitemap, except it's specifically for crawlers or robots instead of humans. Sitemaps are really important because they serve as blueprints for websites, and they help crawlers understand how a site is organized. And any page that you want to appear on Google should be in your sitemap. This way, even if the page isn't linked to from somewhere on your site, it can still be found by Google and displayed on the search engine results page. And submitting it to Search Console aids in the discovery of those pages and ensures that it gets indexed for inclusion in search results. So speaking of Search Console, while you're in there, another thing that you want to do is to check for any crawl errors. And if you find them, you want to correct them ASAP, basically. So crawl errors are in the Pages report in the indexing tab in Search Console. Once you're in that report, you want to look for errors like 404 page not found errors. This is different from the 301 thing that I was talking about before. 404 page not found errors are basically what they mean is that the page no longer exists. And there's a couple of reasons why Google might think this. For one, you did actually delete the page. And if you did that and you meant to do that, then you're fine. Google will eventually remove the page from its indexing, and there's nothing to do. But it could also mean that the page URL changed and you didn't set up a 301 redirect for it. In that case, you want to make sure you create that redirect so that the page, people are able to get to that new version of the page. Another thing that you want to look for are pages that are blocked by a robots.txt file that should not be blocked. So without getting too technical and in the weeds about this, basically what a robots.txt file does is it gives instructions to Google crawlers for basically sort of how to crawl your website. And it's a very powerful tool for that purpose. And it can also, if you're not careful, it can block your entire website from being indexed and included in Google search results. So if there are any pages being blocked by that file that should not be blocked, you want to work with your developer to fix that ASAP. And a quick aside here, we recently had a client whose website was being blocked by a tag that was added to their site. It was not added to the robots.txt file, but it was just added to their website when their website was still in the development process, in the staging portion of the redesign process. Basically when they wanted to be able to play around with it, but they didn't want people ending up on it from Google. The problem was that when the website was then launched, they did not remove this tag. So here they are thinking that, like, great, the website's public, but nobody could find it via Google. It was not showing up on Google search engine results page. We don't have many or really any SEO emergencies, but that's about as close as you get to an SEO emergency. That was something that the team reached out to them to let them know ASAP that, like, hey, Google can't find your website. You have to remove these tags. So that's just a quick aside to just really emphasize the importance of making sure that anything that was added to the robots.txt file, added to your site during the redesign process to keep it from being found, is removed when you do want your website to be found after you launch it. So in addition to keeping an eye on Search Console, the other thing that you want to do is to monitor your organic traffic in Google Analytics. You want to be looking for significant drops in traffic that don't return to or surpass pre-launch levels. This example over here on the right is a good example of something that would be okay to see. But if you see something like this, this is an indication that searchers are having trouble finding your new website. The other thing that you'll want to do in this stage is to make sure that you set up your to make sure that your 301 redirects that you've already set up are actually working. So remember, these are things that these are redirects that you've already put in place. You're just making sure that things are going to the right place. And finally, the last thing that you want to be doing in this stage is to update your backlinks. Backlinks are basically links from one website back to your website. And they affect your site's ability to rank highly on the search engine results page. It's basically like vouching. Hopefully, you've set up 301 redirects that will cover your important backlinks. But it's still a good idea to let website owners of other organizations that you work with, to let them know that you have new links for pages that they link to often. This can be especially useful if you have partner organizations that are linking back to an education page that you have or something like that. Go ahead and reach out to them and let them know that, like, hey, we have a new page, a new URL for this page that you link to all the time. Maintaining backlinks is something, it should be a group effort that is spearheaded and led by your web team, but involves other members of your marketing team, your communications team, any other departments or colleagues that regularly interact with the public and share links. Because if everybody's doing that kind of outreach, you want to make sure that everybody's communicating the same message. These people in these other teams and departments outside of your web team, they don't need to be SEO experts to help you in this stage. You just need their help. So you can help them help you by giving them language to include in an email announcing the launch of your new website, or language to add to their email signature, just letting people know, like, hey, new website, check it out, go here. So that's a lot. Let's quickly recap what to do in each of these stages. In the planning stage, you want to analyze your current site structure and identify opportunities for improvement on the new website, conduct a content audit, consider how schema will impact requirements for your content management system, or CMS, In the pre-launch stage, you should create and implement title tags and meta descriptions for your evergreen and high priority pages. Set up 301 redirects for key pages on your old site to your new site. Maintain access to your previous website domain, that is if your domain name will change. And set up Google Search Console for your new website. In the post-launch stage, you should update your XML sitemap and upload it to Google Search Console. Check Google Search Console for crawl errors. Monitor your organic traffic in Google Analytics. Make sure your 301 redirects are working for key pages. And update your valuable external backlinks. Now, this is the ideal scenario. But as we all know, we are not often working in ideal scenarios. So what do you do if you are in the pre-launch stage or the post-launch stage and you haven't done any of this? First of all, don't panic. Let's talk a little bit about alternative approaches. First things first, don't try to rush site structure analysis or a content audit if you really don't have the time. Instead, tackle these things as mini projects after your site has already launched. These are projects with really impactful outcomes. So if you know that realistically a site structure analysis or a content audit is actually going to take you 4 weeks to complete and you only have 2 weeks until launch, don't try to cram it in. Just go ahead and wait until after your site is launched and then get to those projects. Now, let's say you are not only post-launch, but it's maybe been a year and a half since you launched your website. And you're sitting there and you're listening to me and you're like, dang, I haven't done any of this. And it's been a minute since this site launched. That's too bad. Feels like it's probably too late. I promise you it is not too late. Don't think it's too late. Instead, just implement these recommendations ASAP. It's really a classic case of better late than never. Case in point from my moving story. This is my living room today. Thank you. I think it looks pretty good. The media console and the rug that we have, I think, really pull the space together. And these are things that are hand-me-downs from my family. And we didn't even acquire them until about 5 years after we moved into our apartment. It's truly never too late to optimize. And your website redesign process will really benefit from search engine optimization no matter what stage you're in. So go forth, redesign, and optimize. Thank you.
That was great. Thank you. That living room looked amazing. Hi, my name is Harumi Yoshida. I use she, her pronouns. I'm a senior consultant here at CI. I'm a Latina female with a long black hair, wearing a black top and a blue jumpsuit and blue booties. And now I will be asking you some questions. The first one is from Frank. The first question is related to redirects. When do you recommend removing redirects from an old website to the new website that are more than a year old?
Sorry, can you say that again?
Sure. When do you recommend removing redirects from an old website to the new website that are more than a year old?
I don't think you actually have to remove redirects. I think that you can leave them in place. I will say that another question that I have gotten before related to this is, let's say if you removed a page, but you were redirecting it to another page that was related to that page, that old page, like how long do you have to wait before deleting it? And basically you want to leave that page in place and leave the redirect in place for at least 6 months to a year to make sure that the ranking the ranking signals from the old page are moved over to that new page and that Google recognizes that. But I mean, it sounds like there's been plenty of time for that to happen, but I don't think that you have to really worry about like deleting the redirect. I think you can just leave it in place. Doesn't hurt anything.
Thank you, Elena. The next one is from Sarah, which is another question about redirects. It says, if there's not a good place to redirect an old or deleted page to, can I redirect that page to my home page?
This is a really good question. And this is something that actually I think someone asked over the summer. And I was like, yeah, I think that's OK. And then I did some research. I was like, actually, scratch that. The ideal thing is, so let me back up. Redirecting a page that you don't have like a good redirect for to the home page can result in something called a soft 404 sometimes. And basically that can happen if, let's say, the page is deleted and you're like, oh, I want to still capture that ranking, so I'm going to send it to my home page. Google, for a page that's been deleted, it's actually important for Google to see that that page has actually been deleted and removed from the index instead of sort of tricking it into thinking that, oh, it's this home page. It's just like a confusing signal to give Google. Instead of redirecting pages to your home page when that is not really the appropriate place to send it, you could also create a custom 404 page to show up when people reach that old page that is no longer there. And basically, that's an opportunity for you to, sort of say like, oops, sorry, this content's been deleted, but, here are some other places on our website where you might be able to find the information that you're looking for, or to go ahead and send them to the homepage. But just sort of like redirecting everything to the homepage is actually not what you want to do. You want to have like a really good custom 404 page set up.
Thank you. The next one is from Jared, and he has a question about a small organization doing a full redesign. They found a greater partner, but their code is way more expensive than anticipated. Do you have any advice to help convince the board and the stakeholders to approve a larger investment?
Ooh. My goodness. I mean, I think that, every board is unique, every situation is unique, but I think that something that you could say is that the website is not just, a technological tool. It is a way that you communicate with your audiences, with your constituents. It is often like your front door, or actually, no, Google is your front door often, but your homepage and your website is a first impression that you're giving to people, and it's very important. It's also an expression of your brand. It touches a lot of different aspects of your mission and the way that you want to execute what you want to do. So I think that as much as possible to really paint the big, broad picture for them about the overall impact that this can have, not just on ticket sales or things like that, like those quick conversions or not so quick conversions that we often think about, but the sort of story that you're painting of yourself, the brand that you're trying to present. I would also say that if it's truly just, a quote that is really wildly outside of your budget, to just sort of keep looking, But if you are also feeling like, no, this is the agency, this is who we need to work with, try to really tell that full story and get people on board for understanding the full impact that the website can have.
Thank you. We have time for one last question. This one comes from Amy, and it's about all events appearing on the search engine's result page. For all events that have passed and will no longer occur or will not occur again, how do you get them to stop appearing in your search results and confusing people trying to find current events?
I love this question because this is something that people ask us about a lot. So there's a couple of things. There's a couple of reasons why this could be happening. So I'm going to talk about a couple of different things really quickly. If you have recurring events, like let's say, we call this the nutcracker problem, where y'all know exactly what I'm about to say. So basically, this is like, say you have a nutcracker production from 2019, and you had an engagement page for that production. And then in, let's pretend 2020 was not 2020, and you had a nutcracker production in 2020, you created a new page. 2021, same thing, you created a new page. And then by 2022, you have like 4 different nutcracker pages that are showing up on your search engine results page when people search for your dance company in the nutcracker. One way to avoid that is to create one engagement page that you reuse and just update each year. This will keep that from happening. And the other thing that this will do is that it will give that page an opportunity to build up all sorts of search value over time, so that like it will rank higher, hopefully, every single year, instead of competing with other old pages. Another thing that you can do is you can implement schema for your events. This can really help you to show up high for those searches, to take up more real estate on the search engine results page, and to just provide detail for like, this is the event that is happening now, and to make that clear to Google. I'm trying to think about anything else. I feel like there is definitely something I'm forgetting. If there is something that I'm forgetting, whoever asked this question, just come find me, and I can also point you to a blog post that talks all about this.
Great. Thank you very much, Alana. Oh, thank you.